a certain concept is brought up this week called Hilul Hashem, and as well as Hilul Hashem, desecrating God's name, or Kiddush Hashem, sanctifying God's name. And it's a very interesting concept when you are in the Torah, committing an avera, committing a sin, can be desecrating God's name, but also doing something that gives the Jewish people a bad name or gives God a bad name can also be Hilul Hashem. In other words, you're doing something like you're driving fast. Okay, this actually happened to me. I was on my way to a shul in Miami Beach, and this car almost ran me over as I crossed the street. He was going super fast, and he was going to the Minyan. It's Friday night, Friday afternoon, and I confronted him. So I said, "Why did you drive so fast?" And he said, "Well, I had to make it to shul." I said, "And you almost ran me over." Like you're going to make it, even if you drove safely, even if you didn't drive above the speed limit. But that was a major Hilul Hashem on his part, because you're endangering other people. And it might be legal what you're doing, but it still is something wrong. Now, Kiddush Hashem is when you do something that sanctifies God's name. And again, it might not be what we can perceive as a mitzvah. Rabbi Schwartz tells a story, if you remember, after 9/11 at the ME office, the medical examiner's office. They had all the body parts, etc., as they're trying to identify them through their DNA to see who was who, etc. Rabbi Schwartz it was on February, a very cold day in February, he was saying Tehillim there. And so he was saying Tehillim, very cold day, and an Irish cop had been identified who had lost his life. And the family came there. So he saw the grandmother there, and he realized that how cold she was. He took off his gloves and gave it to her. And she said, "Thank you, Rabbi." That was a Kiddush Hashem. Even though you wouldn't find it in any book on the mitzvot, giving a grandmother your gloves is not written down anywhere. But it is sanctifying God's name, because here was a man of the cloth. And by the way, Rabbi Schwartz was the only man of the cloth, as it were, who was there. And he realized these people needed something. So he said, Kel Malei Rachamim for the person, just translated into English. So at least they had something from somebody of religious authority of some sort. But that again was a Kiddush Hashem, because he's sanctifying God's name, helping these people get over perhaps one of the most biggest tragedies in their lives. But that's the whole concept here. Kiddush Hashem doesn't have to be something written down, just as Hilul Hashem doesn't have to be something written down. Sometimes your logic you can figure it out. Something to think about, Kaddish Rabbanan.